live events. I do tons of them. I've done over 800 across the state, actually, in the last 8 years, because I ran for governor back in 2018, and then again in 2022. In 2022, I got to open up. No worries. So I got to open the ballots. So why do I do this way? I do it this way because I want you to know this is live with no notes. So whatever I say to you, I'm not going to say something else to you someplace else some other time. Whatever I say to you now is the same thing I will tell anybody else. So what you'll get from me, what you'll notice, is I will always, I'm live now, guys. What you will always get from me is an answer. What you won't get from me is, oh, something's wrong, Hochul is really bad. Oh, something's wrong, Trump is really bad. You won't get that. Democrats, when something goes wrong, just go, oh, Trump is bad. See, that's the reason. They give you a history lesson and then Trump is bad. And now what do Republicans do? They give you a history lesson and then say, Mom, Donnie bad. They don't give you an answer. They don't solve your problem. They don't deal with your issue at all. And they don't have to, because they have a system. You brought up a lot of good stuff. I really appreciate you because you're totally right. The same thing happening to me now. I'm out here trying to get signatures, just like you are. And as I go out trying to get signatures, I have trouble getting people to petition for me. Because the GOP tells them, leadership tells them, don't talk to Larry Sharpe. I'm not joking. They tell people, don't talk to Larry Sharpe. If you go petition for Larry Sharpe, we'll never hire you as petitioner ever again. That's true. But he says, all true. Something you heard happens all the time. I can't get people to even carry out my petitions along with side with them because they'll get in trouble. That's how hard it is. It's very challenging. Raising money, very challenging. Getting people to talk, very challenging. But I will ask you, you say, well, it matters, Larry, because you know what? These guys, Blakeman is our guy. He's our guy. They've decided. Awesome. I'm going to ask any of you here. What's Blakeman's policy to fix the update? Yeah, nothing. None of you know.
I can speak to that.
Tell me, please give me one.
In full disclosure, I was with Mr. Blakeman today at lunch, and I had told you that, Larry.
I'm not mad. Tell me.
Right. And he definitely wants to cut taxes in New York State work.
Okay, got it. What's his plan?
Reduce taxes.
Oh, so reduce taxes. Okay. Have we heard that before? Yeah. Yes, we have. We heard that 2006, 2010, 2014, 2018, 2020, 2022. And what do we get all those 5 times? Losses every time. This state is 2 cycles away from no longer being able to field statewide Republican candidates anymore. I'm not joking. It's already happening in New Mexico. New Mexico right now, there is no Republican candidate for governor. I'm not joking. Right now, people are making that up. There is no Republican. The state's so blue, there's no Republican candidate. That's where we are right now. Because they say things like, I'm going to cut taxes. How? He can't tell you. I will. He can't tell you how. He has no idea how. He's going to tell you that. Did he cut taxes in Nassau County? Did he?
Yes.
He did not. No, he just did not raise them. Okay. Thank you. He did not. He just did not raise them. That's his claim to fame. I didn't make things worse. That's his claim to fame. He did not. So how's he going to do it now?
We can agree to disagree.
He won't. That's the issue. He will not. Now ask the opposite. What's Kathy Hochul's plan? Raise taxes. That's her plan. Let's raise taxes. Same thing. There is no actual plan to fix everything. If you ask Kathy Hochul how's she going to fix things, she says, well, you know, Trump is evil and he's bad and we got to stop Trump and Trump's terrible and that's the reason. And that's what she'll say. If you ask Blakeman, how are we going to fix things? Well, Mamdani's bad, Hochul's terrible, Hochul's been bad for years, and I'm going to, I guess, lower taxes or whatever he says. But where's his plan? Where's his idea? Where are people going to be motivated to do something? They're not. I've been crossing this state for 8 years. I talk to people across this state in every single county. I go to every single county every single year, whether I'm running or not. Every single year, whether I'm running or not. I've been here before. Yeah. I've been here before. I show up whether I'm running or not. So what am I going to tell you? Larry, how are you so different? I'm going to tell you what I'm going to tell you. You want to lower taxes? We have to start in this state a sovereign fund for New York State. Yes. DJT talked about it, and so did RK Jr. back in 2024 about starting one for the nation. They talked about it. They didn't do it, they talked about it. The guy who's running right now for for controller right now in New York, the Republican in New York State, Joe Hernandez is totally on board. Great idea. We start a sovereign fund for New York State, a separate company separate CEO, separate board, like Norway does, like Singapore does. Within 2 years, it can pay for education. Why does that matter?
What's a sovereign fund?
A sovereign fund is a fund that you put together that people can invest in, that companies can invest in, that big banks can invest in, that people can invest in, that builds money on its own. Countries already have it. That's how Singapore pays most of their stuff. That's how Norway pays for their stuff. Saudi Arabia has it. Not so great, but they have it. Russia has one too. Lots of countries have them. We don't have one for this state. Can't be done. Within 2 years, it pays for education. Directly from it to education. Not part of the government, that we take it. Why we want it to happen. We pay for education. Why do we have school tax? Why do we have school tax? No need. If it's paying for education, there's no need for school tax. You get rid of school tax, I just cut my budget by about $40 billion. Done. Not just that. That's going to cut property tax by about 50%, depending on where you live in the state. Some people more, some less. Overnight. Go ahead.
What's the incentive for a company to put in $1?
Yes, the same incentive you have in places like Governor Singapore, Norway. You can get a dividend. That's why. You can also take care of taxes. You can also yes, absolutely. Yes, 100% investment fund. Yes.
Yeah. So we're trading against other currencies.
You could.
How are you?
You could if you want to. Of course. You will see some of them will do something.
What's your?
I don't have to deal with that. I'm the governor. That's why I have a controller. Yes, that's why I have a controller. Right? I'm not a financial guru. I don't have to be. I know they work already. I've watched them work across this country. It's already been done. It's proven. It's been proven.
I'm not, yes. How does the sovereign fund get funded initially?
Yes.
Is it coming from the taxpayers? Is it
100%.
a
Great question.
reallocation of our taxes?
I love the question. Great question. Many ways you can do it. One of them you can do it is by selling and/or leasing state land. That's one way you can do it. You know that way. Sure, absolutely. You can also do it by energy sales because we have to go nuclear power. And I'll explain in a second too. You go nuclear power, you do it by energy sales. You could also do that. You could do it by simply giving some of these financial companies an insane tax break and having them actually begin to fund it and invest off the bat, giving them very good initial returns to get them to get started. Good too. You could also take a loan against our actual income tax. Our income tax is about $80 billion a year. You start with a loan against our income tax. So there's many ways you can do it. Absolutely. It can be done. But number 4, what I'm talking about has been done across the world more than once. So many ways you can do it. Absolutely. Once you get it started, about 2 years, boom, it starts paying back. So it takes time to grow. Right.
Isn't this kind of what Alaska already has?
Alaska has something similar for their energy. They do. If you live in Alaska, they have a similar fund that comes from their oil, right? The oil from Alaska, and individual people get a bunch of cash. So it's similar even in Alaska. We already have it in our own country. It can be done.
Well, I've written extensively on the Alaska fund. The Alaska fund is slightly different because what they do is they give a dividend to each of their citizens, correct, based off the resources extracted in. And I agree with the fund. I think it's an excellent idea. And the article I wrote had to deal with a space dividend for the American citizen. Yep, the same concept. These companies going up
100%.
I just with the I completely understand what you're saying. With the New York State Fund, we can turn around all these gas shells, lease them out. The money that comes in, funds it, and now it's a dividend back to the citizen through education.
Absolutely.
But who decides how that fund is spent?
It is a separate company with a separate CEO. That is the issue. Absolutely.
No, I understand it's a separate CEO, but what happens when that CEO goes off the rails and is funding wars in third world countries?
Yep. In theory, that would be a problem. You're right. In theory, it would be a problem. We have to follow the same guidelines and the same charter that the other countries already follow. That has happened never. That is what you just said has never happened in the history of sovereign funds. So they all have charters that will stop that. So we have a charter that would stop him. Not if he did that, he'd go to jail. Remember, he'd be financially responsible. If he decided to fund a war or something, he probably could get the first month and then he'd be in jail.
Well, what I'm thinking about fund the war, fund the corporations that are in.
Absolutely. The same issues we have with every other financial institution. The same issues, you follow the same issues. Anyone could do it, right? If Goldman Sachs wanted to write a check to Russia, they could if they wanted to, right? Absolutely. And they get in trouble. We follow the same rules, the same laws we already have in place. No requirement of extra laws whatsoever. We already have guardrails for all that. Does that answer your question? It does. Also, note what I did not do. Trump is evil. Hochul's bad. I didn't do that. He asked me a question, and I answered it. You asked me a question, I answered it. Every question you asked, I actually answered. So whether you agree with me or not, you think I'm right or you think I'm wrong, I still gave you an actual answer. Imagine if I was on a debate stage with Kathy Hochul, they're gonna do is give you a history lesson and then say other guy bad. If you ask Kathy Hochul, oh my God, how are you gonna fix my taxes? Well, you know, New York State history lesson, blah, blah, and you gotta stop Trump. That's gonna be her answer. I'm serious, that's gonna be your answer. History lesson, you gotta stop Trump. That's gonna be your answer. But Blakeman's no better. It's not a policy. Blakeman is gonna say the same thing. Well, it's been bad. Democrats been destroying the state forever. And Mamdani's bad at protecting Mamdani. But I still can't pay my rent. But my energy costs are still crazy. But my taxation is destroying me, and my parents and my family and my friends are leaving the state and going to Florida. Your history lesson and your other guy bad isn't saving me. Doesn't solve my problem. What I just told you does. What I just told you does. And it motivates people to get up and start walking around and doing stuff. Because here's what I see across the state. The Republican leadership in this state has abandoned the state. You see it every day. They've abandoned it. They've decided that your families don't matter, your businesses don't matter, your friends don't matter, your school doesn't matter, it's irrelevant because we're going to keep the federal government happy as I sacrifice the state. They know they're going to lose and don't care. This state is 23% Republican. 20%. That's it. 47% Democrat and 30% either not affiliated or independent. If we don't make a coalition, we're not going to win. Trump did that in 2024. He taught us how to do it, and we are ignoring him. He taught us how to put together a coalition with RFK Jr., with Elon Musk, with Tulsi Gabbard. And that's the reason why he won all 7 swing states. He might have won the election, but he would not have won all 7 swing states without the coalition. He wouldn't have beaten Kamala Harris in the popular vote without that coalition. That coalition gave him the mandate that he needed to move things forward. Why can't we do it here? Can. Who can do it? This guy right here.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. This guy right here. How do you know that, Larry? You're talking trash. You're a good-looking guy. I am good-looking. But it isn't the point. It's not the point. The point is I've run before, and I know what the numbers are. 30% of the people who vote for me are registered Democrats. 30% of the people who vote for me are registered independent or not affiliated. And 40% are registered Republican. That I know already. That's done deal. I'm the guy that everyone will vote for. Across this state, just me, on my own as an independent, I poll at almost 10%. No other independent can poll across the state like I am. No one's known across the state like I am. I'm the guy who also did something else. We saw what Trump also did. Tell you what also Trump did last time. He was the podcast candidate, wasn't he? Remember that? It was him, J.D. Vance. Remember? They all went to all the podcasts. Could you imagine Kathy Hochul on a podcast? You're laughing. Thank you. I've already been on them all already. I've already been on Joe Rogan. I've already been on Glenn Beck. I've already been on Zibble. I've already been to Murray. Let's go back again. I yap for hours like this, like there's no tomorrow. Can you imagine Bruce Blakeman on one? Thank you. He can't. He goes to like Newsmax and that's it. I'm not joking. That's where you've seen him. You haven't seen him anyplace else. You're right. You said, but he can't go. They will eat him alive. They will eat him alive because he can't give an answer to an actual question of what he's going to do with this thing. I just gave you one, but I'm not even knowing what to talk about. If we actually had that sovereign fund paid for schooling, well, there's no need for federal funds anymore. No need for state funds anymore, which means local people control their own school district. Could you imagine that? Local people control their own school district. Right now, New York State spends $40,000 per kid per year, and our kids can't read. I'm not joking. Our kids can't do math. We ranked 28 out of 50 last time I checked. And we spend the most in the world, except sometimes Luxembourg. That's kind of weird. It's true. Sometimes Luxembourg spends more money. I don't know why. But they do sometimes. Except the Luxembourg. I hope they can read. Ours can't. I hope theirs can at least. Yes. But except Luxembourg, we spend the most in the entire world, and we get those kind of outcomes. Why? Because here's the sad part. We have trained our teachers to not want to be teachers anymore. We make our teachers jump through hoops. They got to go get master's degrees. They got to go get this. They got to go get that. Then they show up and they get told to do by the administrator.
And they fire them with no due
And then they fire with no due process. Then they get rid of one never to mad. Yes. So now we have parts of New York State where there are more administrators than there are teachers in one district. That's true. I'm not against administrators. We need them. Open it to all of them.
That's when you know it's also very hard to find what to become a teacher.
Yep.
In New York State, we're the only ones in New York State that require 5 tests
Yes.
to become a teacher.
Yes.
Anywhere else, once you finish your undergrad, you are considered a teacher. Then you go to the master's and then yourself.
Yep.
You have to take 5 hard-ass classes,
Yep.
and it's a fee for each one of those tests.
You gotta pay for all that,
Yep.
yes?
You take
So
a
you
long
can
part-
now, so Mike, what I said before, and I keep saying, let teachers teach. Let them teach. The biggest thing we came up with was Common Core. People got mad at Common Core. I wasn't mad at Common Core, I was mad at the mandate. Let me explain the difference. There are, those who teach, you know this, there are some kids who do learn better on Common Core. It's a small percentage, but some do. Why wouldn't I let the teachers, who I make go through all these hoops, decide which kids to get which? I don't care which one. If I gotta trust a bureaucrat or a teacher, I'll trust teacher. They can figure it out. They'll make, and if Common Core works for that kid, but the teacher do it for that kid, I don't care how your kid learns for. Just learn for. That's important. I don't care how. Let teachers teach. When teachers make mistakes, they're human. Of course some will. Of course some will. But when a teacher makes a mistake, we have one class that's harmed for 1 year and we can fix it. The world's not going to end. Teacher learns, we move on. But when the state takes control and throws Common Core at us, or gets rid of phonics, which is a true thing, gets rid of phonics, we do those things, gets rid of cursive, yes, we lose an entire generation of kids throughout the entire state that we can never get back. Never get back. That's why I want to make sure this happens. You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about community. That's what I've been talking about. I'll go one step further. One of the things that centralized control always does, might always fail, is because it decides what's right for everybody. We talk about diversity. I hear it all the time. I hear diversity all the time. Diversity, diversity, diversity. Okay, awesome. Great. Then why are we making every single part of our country, of our state, the same? Right? If we're so diverse, if that's good, we love diversity, okay, then let local people do what they want. And this goes to one of the most important pieces, I think, that devastated this state was the lockdowns. We are still paying the price for that, and no one will even say they're sorry. We are still paying the price for that, and no one will even say they're sorry. Somebody once said, Larry, you should give them some grace. And I said, grace, okay. Are you telling me that the people who locked us down believe they should have never locked us down? It was a mistake, they would never do it again. No. Their answer is, we didn't know enough. Then we can lock you down and crush you and destroy your business. That's fine. No grace. None. No. We have to push forward a very important thing. We've got to push forward into New York State an actual amendment to our Constitution, New York State Constitution, based upon the First Amendment, that lockdowns by default stop all 5 parts of the First Amendment. Right from the speech, religion, association, everything, all of them. It stops all of them. Yes. It's in our Constitution that lockdowns are unconstitutional and illegal no matter what. If we just make it a law, the governor will go, emergency, and ignore the law. It must be in the Constitution. And I would ask you, what candidate is talking about that? None. I didn't say I'll lower taxes like they always say. I told you how I will get rid of taxes. I told you how I'll get rid of school tax. I told you how I'll cut our budget. I didn't go, well, we'll figure. I gave you an actual answer. I told you how I'll fix our schooling system. I gave you an actual answer. We touch energy. This is part of what you talked about earlier. We have a bigger problem in New York State. That's energy costs. You're everywhere. City upstate's worse than down here, but it's everywhere. It is everywhere. And also something else, AI. That is all over the place, everywhere, taking jobs. We all see it. Who's talking about? What's Bruce Blakeman's plan for that?
Well, the GOP's plan is to have an AI petitioning. So there'll be a lot of jobs for people.
There we go. There we go. Yeah, that's the plan, right?
Me and Lewis are building the robots now. Don't worry about it.
What's Hochul's plan for AI? Ban it, probably, again. I assume, because that's our plan, ban everything, right? Here's what I'm going to talk about. They're not going to let us decide and stop AI. It's not going to happen. Why? Because it's a weapon system. That's a fact. It's a weapon system. I'm a veteran. I know it's a weapon system. It's already controlling half of the Ukrainian war. It will soon control most of it. It's going to control most of the war in Iran. It's going to happen. So it does. Not going to rid of it. How do we control it? We have to control the energy. Someone's got to be able to pull the plug. And right now, it's the top 6 people on the planet. I'm not okay with that. I want us to have power. I want us to have power. There's about 12 places across this state right now that will pop a nuclear power plant right now. We're going to put nuclear power plants in. Here's how to do it, a very specific way to do it. The actual land is owned by the government, and we lease the land out. That's how we make money, and hopefully also build the state trust. We lease the land out, and we have the AI company and the engine company together building a nuclear power plant. They're going to come to me and say, "Hey, Larry, we need all these things to build it." I'm going to sign them all and say, "Go build." And say, "Larry, we can't. We'll get sued. You won't get sued. I'll get sued. Go build a power plant." They will just go build it. Lease the land out, and they will build it. And when the lawsuits come to me, I don't care. I'll keep them in court for a couple years. They'll build the power plant. Here's how it has to work. They have to agree to something. If you want to put your AI data center in it, if you want to put your blockchain mining, you may, but you will put them directly to the nuclear power plant and will not touch our grid. Number one. Number two, nuclear power plant is 50% owned by the people of that municipality or county, not the government. It is owned by the individual people. You are shareholders, 50%. You, if you lived in that place for 1 year or more. What does that mean? That means you get voting rights. That means you get voting rights. Not just that. That means at the end of the year, like in Alaska, when there's profits, you can decide where those profits go. You say to yourself, "I'm in a bad spot. We have a housing issue." Great. Create a localized credit union and give 1% loans for housing. Up to you. You decide. Say, "Oh, I don't like that. I think my main street's broken." Great. 1% business loan, your main street. You say, "No, I don't want that. I want a check." Awesome. Just get a check. Alaska does it. Get a check at the end of the year. Could you imagine if local municipalities were to get a check from the nuclear power plant, to where actually in New York State, you can have a family survive on one income? Those days are long gone. Who's talking about that? I am. I'm talking about fixing families. I'm talking about making things better. I'm talking about localization. It's the most important thing. How do we fix this state? Ownership. New York State has the absolute worst wealth gap in the entire nation. The worst. No one has it worse. How do you fix it? You fix it with ownership mindset. That's how you fix it. Getting people to have ownership in their community, ownership in their resources, ownership in their own minds. You make that happen, you will change the environment, change the culture. It can work. That's what I'm talking about. If you guys are saying, "Wait a minute, this guy's talking a lot of good stuff," you're right. I'm giving you actual answers, and I'm answering questions. Go ahead.
Larry, what's your plan? Speaking about ownership mindset, what's your plan for those who already bought into the idea of socialism with Mamdani?
Yes. I'm going to tell you, here's the best part. For those of you who meet socialists, I meet them every day. For those who don't know, Mamdani was my assemblyman. AOC is my congressperson. I accept your condolences. So, yes. But I actually know Mamdani. I actually had him on my show interview 3 years ago. I warned, by the way, I warned the New York GOP about Mamdani. They ignored me. Because they always ignore me. I suck. They do. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I warned them, and they did, and they ignored me. He's a very savvy, smart guy. No matter what they think of him, he's charismatic. He does. He is. That's true. Trump even said so. Trump actually likes him because he's so charismatic. True. So it's true. So, but here's the issue. If you know socialism, they'll say the same thing all the time. They'll say, "Larry, you don't understand socialism. We've never had real socialism." They will tell you that every single time. They will tell you what socialism is really about, Larry. It's about workers owning the means of production. It's not about all this other stuff. They will tell you. But I would ask you, have any of you looked at Mamdani's policies? Have any of you looked at policies? Looked at Mamdani's policies? I have. I've looked in detail. In no place, in no policy does he show us having ownership. It doesn't exist. His policy is about centralized control.
It's all about government.
Yes, it's about government ownership and centralized control. What did I just tell you about? Localized ownership. That's what I told you about. Actual individual people owning things. This is why I am the coalition candidate. Because that is my plan. Individual people owning things. I'm going to go one step further. Mamdani told us that he's worried about slumlords. I get that. That's a real worry. I understand that. Anyone know who the largest slumlord in our state is?
New York.
NYCHA. New York Public Housing. The largest slumlord in our state. How do we fix that? We transfer everything over to rent to own. We start rent to own. That's what we start doing. And we allow, here's the thing, people are upset about big businesses, big banks coming in and buying up houses. I understand that fear. I get the fear completely. But what if we didn't, we said, I don't care if you buy stuff, but buy things and make them rent to own. If you make them rent to own, your tax burden is zero. Zero. Do rent to own, zero tax burden. Larry, you're just giving big business a tax break. Yes, and I'm giving ownership. Yes, and I'm giving ownership. People who would have never thought to own, now we're going to have ownership. As that begins to change culture, people start changing. We have lost a lot of battles in this state. They've been crushing this state for 20, 30, 40 years. We have to start winning the culture war again. Ownership is a better way. Thank you. If we start doing that, we want more people doing that, more ownership. I'm not against renters, I'm not, but you shouldn't rent because there's no choice. You should rent because you made a choice. That makes sense for you to rent at this time of your life. Fine. But it shouldn't be, I can't afford to buy anything. Here's the reality. We're so broken right now as a nation. We don't get the good job we want. We don't have the girlfriend and boyfriend we want. We don't have the schooling that we want. We don't have the education that we want. So we've now decided that my victory is the other guy losing. And that's it. So I'm a Republican and my Donnie loses. I won. Okay, you like me better? No. So how did you win? You didn't. I'm a Democrat. Trump lost. Great. I won. Great. So you like me better? No. No. I just gave you a bunch of ideas to make things better in your community. And my last one. I talk all the time about community and localization. And I mean that absolutely. Imagine anyone who owes money to the state at the end of the year. That's almost all of us. You can take $250 of that money and you can send it to the state. And instead give it to any non-government funded nonprofit in the state. If it's in your county, it's double the $500. So right, it's $700. What's that going to do? Who matches it? No, just yours.
So instead of paying $250,
instead of what I owe. Yep. Say I owe to the state. I owe the state $2,000 at the end of the year.
It's in my county. I can get $500.
Yep. So I get $1,500 to the state. Kathy Hope gets her cut. Sadly, she gets her cut. You can take your $500 of that cut and give it to any non-government funded nonprofit in your county. What will that do? It's $500. What happens when 1,000 people do it? 10,000 people do it. The money now stays in your county with people who locally decide what's right and wrong, not bureaucrats. You decide what's right and wrong in your county, and it stays here. But something else happens. I've just done equity. Some Democrats will talk about that. Right now, most of the people who are donating are wealthy. They control a lot of the nation. That's normal. Now anybody can. If you owe the state money, we almost all do, you now can start giving. You can start giving. Everyone can start giving locally. Build their own communities back up with what they need. Change how we think. Keeps things locally. But here's the best important part. Let's say you have bad potholes in your area. You got terrible potholes. And I'm now your local assemblyman, or I'm your local city councilman. And I say, I got you. I'm going to start a plan. I'm going to put a program out to go and fix potholes. Wait. So I go out and fix potholes. And they don't get fixed. What happens? I give more money. I'm not joking.
More grants.
More grants, more money. I just get more money. The potholes still don't get filled. In fact, there's no incentive to fix potholes. Because I fix them, I'm not getting money. So I make sure I don't fix them so I can keep getting money. Well, my plan, instead, you decide. You're going to fix potholes. Awesome. You ask your people around, you're going to get your $500. You get it. You get 1,000 people to give you that money. You got $500,000. You start fixing potholes. You're terrible at fixing potholes. You're a lawyer, you're not pothole fixing. You suck at that. You're terrible. What happens next year? We don't give him any more money. He's terrible at it. He is just punished for failure.
Accountability.
Accountability. Imagine that. What if he's really good at it? He's the best pothole fixer ever had. What happens then? We give him more money to fix more potholes. We have to do more stuff. Common sense. Yes, it is, my friends. Common sense. I would ask you, who else talking about that? What governor candidate would come to you and give you actual answers and show you how to move your own society forward, and not just say, give me more power, give me more this, give me more that. And not just that, I didn't pander to any of you. I didn't virtue signal to any of you. I gave you actual answers. I hope that matters. Go ahead.
So I really like your plan. I guess I like the idea for nuclear power. I think it's needed.
Yep.
What I don't like as much is that you'd be willing to challenge local communities that would oppose the plan. Right?
No, not at all.
You said you hold them up in court.
No,
right?
no.
That's what you.
No. I'm sorry. I should have been clearer. Let me be clear.
Okay.
Thank you for that question. That's a good question. Let me clarify that. Sure. I'm about localization. So there's a plebiscite. You have to vote if you want it or not, because you will be an owner. You have to be an owner. If the local communities don't want it, they don't have to have it. There's about 12 sites right away, because they can find another dozen people who went for it, but 12 like right now to go in. If I only get 8 or 9, I don't care, I'll take whatever I can get. If local people don't want it, they don't have to have it. The people who are gonna fight is the federal government. The federal government will tell me no, they will sue me. I will defend the actual, what the state government should be doing is defending the local citizens against local and federal bullies. That's what it should be doing, and that's what I will do. So I should be clear. Thank you for that. To be clearer on that, I'll be defending you against the feds who will come in going, stop. No, if your community wants it, get it. If your community does not want it, you cannot get it. Is that clearer?
It's very clear.
Thank you.
Larry,
Go ahead, please.
my understanding that you're talking about a total restructuring of the government systems in the state and city.
Not totally shocking, no. Not total.
That,
Not total. Go ahead.
no, that would be the question.
Yeah, not total. No, the problem is, you remember something. In New York State, we are a very blue state. And some of us don't understand how blue we are. If you take New York City out of New York State, New York State's still blue. That's how bad it is, right? It's still blue. You can think I'm not, you're incorrect. Check any data. Buffalo, Syracuse, Rochester, Ithaca, Albany, Binghamton, all deep blue. It's a red state with a bunch of blue blotches. And the blotches are deeper as they've ever been. And the red parts, they're leaving. They're going to Florida. They're going to South Carolina. Since Zeldin ran, over 1 million New Yorkers have left. Most of them would have been voting red. Only 23% of registered voters in New York State, only 20%, are Republican. Only 20%. Without coalition, there will be no victory. It cannot happen.
Problem with that is, you are correct, it's only 23% of it. Problem with that is, only 37% of that 23 actually vote.
Thank you. I'll bring this up also. Next piece I'm going to bring up. We'll go further into that. Some parts of upstate New York, particularly North Country, 1 in 6 vote. You're correct. 1 in 6. They don't vote. You're right. So what's going to make them vote?
Yeah, what?
A guy like me is going to make them vote. I'm going to give you the perfect example. I'm making this up. 2008, there was a very charismatic young Democrat who took this country by storm. His name was Barack Obama. Won the presidency. The Republican Party said, got this, no worries. We're going to take care of him. What are we going to do? Mitt Romney. Yeah, thank you for laughter. That's what happened. So now I decided again, we have another young, charismatic Democrat who just took the whole state by storm, named Mamdani. Just won the mayorship. So what did the Republican leadership in the state say? Mitt Romney Jr. Blakeman. That is Mitt Romney Jr. I'm not joking. In every way, shape, or form, Mitt Romney Jr.
Do you think, comparing Hochul,
Yes.
the accidental governor,
Yep.
do you think she's going to be able to ride Mondami's coattails?
100. Let me explain.
Do you think the same?
He's not said yes already. Yes. I will explain why. I have data. I'm not making this up.
And you don't need. We don't even have. We can have.
I'm
They can put a glass of water that's a Democrat on the numbers alone.
I agree with you. No, I didn't say that. Oh, no, I didn't say that. I want to be clear. She is at her highest approval rating she's ever been. And people will lie to you and go, well, she got to be at 50%. No, she doesn't. She won in 2022 at 36% approval. Now she's at 48%. You think she's not going to win? You're fooling yourself. Not just that, she has a better team she's ever had. Did you see how she limited minority people and got Delgado out of the race? Did you watch how savage that was? Now she isn't savage. Her team is very savage. They've all coalesced on her. She's the best candidate she's ever been. She is now the best candidate she's ever, still a terrible governor, but she's still the best candidate she's ever been. If you think she's not, you're fooling yourself.
And that's because she's defined by her opposition.
Yes, all she does is say Trump bad. I'm going to be very clear on this stuff. If you don't see it, you're not paying attention. The Democrats are motivated to vote. They are all motivated. Orange man bad still works for them. You're nodding your heads, yes, it still works. They are motivated and they're out there. Why do they keep winning all these elections? Why are they winning elections? Because they're showing up. And to your exact point, my friend, Republicans are not. Republicans are not showing up because they're not motivated to run. Why? Republicans are in a tizzy. In this state, too. They don't know what to do, how to act. And there's no one uniting them.
Larry,
Go ahead, please.
so how come a speaker like you?
Yes.
I have not heard of that.
That's a great question.
You now?
No, it's a great question.
I do now because
Yes.
it came tonight.
Yes, it's a great question. Yes. Yes, no, I'm glad you asked that question. It's a very valid question. Yes.
Yeah, well, for example, your name and your face have never come across Hispanic news.
Say again?
Your name and your face have never come across Hispanic news. That's
Yes.
a problem.
It did actually once when I
I
was
want to know why.
supporting our people, it did once, when I was helping them out in 2022. It did come across once in that case. But you're right, it doesn't. I get shut out. You know why I get shut out? Because I'm not establishment.
Just like the candidate here.
Yes, literally, I'm not making this up. I get interviewed, this is a true story. I get interviewed by Politico at least twice a month. Interviewed twice a month. They don't put my name anyplace. They will not, their editors literally do not put my name anyplace.
So our own people are undermining our methods. So there's
Yes.
a similar problem in Queens.
What he just said, yes.
Republican clubs in Queens are atrociously fragmented as we speak.
Yeah.
There are a couple of Republican clubs that do not even communicate with the Queens GOP chairman.
Correct.
I'll do you one better. They back channel their own candidates. They'll back channel with the Democrats that hurt their own candidates. It happened to me. It happened to a whole bunch of them.
Yes,
And I heard the word coalition and coalesce. I think, Larry, you mentioned it.
I did.
Coalition, that's what's gonna have to happen.
Has to.
Clubs like this, and the ones in Queens, are just gonna have to unite forces.
Absolutely. Under
I
someone who
mean,
really
really,
like them.
literally ignite the spirit of 1776.
Yes. Yes.
I think for the next campaign, you saw one of the most effective moves by Trump was when he went to the Bronx.
Yes.
And he
100%.
held those
Yes.
peer-to-peer meetings in the community where real people work,
Yes.
real people who get up and live life and affected by the policies that are
Yes.
restricted. And that's what should be done. And
I,
emphasized
I'm
by
going
the
to tell
party.
you what, you guys may not, some of you may not have heard me, but here's the reality. I am more known across the state than Bruce Blakeman is.
Yes.
I'm not making that up. That's true. I am. I poll about 8% across the state. A lot of it's upstate. A lot of it is. But I am known across the state. People vote for Blakeman because he has an R by his name. That's why they vote for him. He says it. Look at it. Goes, I'm the only Republican running. Not that I'm good at anything. I'm just the only Republican running. That's what he says on his Twitter. I'm not making that up. That's his own words. People vote for me because they know it's me. They know who I am because I go out and I do this. They've heard me and seen me before. So yes, it is hard. You're right, but I'm still doing it. Here's what I would think about. One more thing, if I could. Okay, two more things. What I'm going to say, I don't see that. In 2018, if you took your time, money, and energy and put it into a Democratic candidate, what did you get? You got Cuomo, and he lost, and oh my God, it was bad anyway. It was bad. He left. You didn't get it. If you put it into a Republican candidate, what did you get? Nothing. If you put it into me in 2018, what did you get? An investment. Because I'm still here. Not just that. The policies I talk about still get used, get talked about, still get talked about. Not just that. I got Libertarian Party ballot access in 2018, and then I crossed the state, and I got 107 people elected. How many of you running have had the Republican Party help you out? Yeah, you're laughing. Thank you. You're laughing. I actually go do that. You see me, I raise money for others. I raised money for RPG when he ran. I raised money for Libertarians, I raised money for Republicans. Do it all the time. So I actually help people. But if you what if you did in 2022, you put money, time, and energy in 2022 into a Republican campaign. What'd you get? Nothing. They're all gone. What do you get in 2026? Nothing. You'll be gone too. They're all going to keep going away. They show up. They lie to you. I'm not joking. They tell you, this is our year. It's not our year. The state's getting bluer and bluer. I'll say it again. There has been no, I mean zero, statewide Republican elected in this state in 24 years. Not senator, not AG, not controller, not governor, nothing in 24 years. And they will tell you, this is our year. How? It's impossible. You are correct. It must be coalition. Trump taught us this in 2024. I have people now going, I support Trump. Stop saying you support Trump and do what he says. I'm doing what he did. He's saying he supports him. I'm doing what he did. When Trump is at his best, it's when he's out in front of people.
Well, recently,
I'm in front of people.
Recently, in an interview, former retired General Blaine Holt. said exactly the same thing.
Yes, it's exactly the right answer.
Coalition.
There is no other
President
answer.
Trump needs help, and he asked for help.
Yes.
All of us have to get together and join coalitions.
100%. 100%. I'm trying my best, guys. Go ahead. Yes, something to say?
Yes, okay, so I love RFK, Children Health Defense, big
Yep.
fan.
I raised about $1 million.
We have a born, she'll be 5 in June, we go to school. We are big advocates of bodily autonomy,
Sure.
freedom.
Absolutely. Yep.
Right, so make decisions on that.
Yep. 100%.
You know, the formal got rid of village exemption
Yep.
for, kicked out about 40,000 school kids in 2019, great. RFK's been doing a lot of work with the CDC, right, to
Yep.
change all
100%.
of these, right, 97 shots, whatever. Hochul now, I believe, is trying to team up with like Connecticut, Connecticut, Rhode Island, California, to kind of create their own coalition of, and a lot of parents follow that because they're,
Yes.
so what would you like?
So let me cover 2 parts of that. The first piece I want to bring up is, like my point with Kathy Hochul. If you think she's a nobody, you're fooling yourself. Kathy Hochul's been changing her mind with no tomorrow. People, you will hear this live. This is a lie that these will tell you. Kathy Hochul's a Marxist. Utter trash. Not true. Kathy Hochul's a hopeless. She'd be a Marxist tomorrow. She'd be a conservative tomorrow. She'd be a Republican tomorrow. Democrat tomorrow. Green. She'd be whatever it took to be in charge. Will she be a Marxist if I get her elected? 100%. But is she one? No. She is whatever it would take to get her elected. She would be that. It's irrelevant. She'd be the most conservative person in the world if that would get her elected. She would do whatever it takes. That's what she actually is. How do I know that? She's changing her mind on everything. Have you guys noticed it? Yes. All of a sudden now, maybe I'm not about that. All of a sudden now, maybe nuclear powers and maybe this. And while you may laugh at that, the average New Yorker is not paying attention. And they just see her now caring. And here's how the world works. When you have no answer or a bad answer, you take the bad answer because you're in trouble and you want an answer. Hochul's about to give us a whole bunch of bad answers. When you have a second, go on Bruce Blakeman's website, show me where his policies are. He has nothing. He had no answers. And when a New Yorker see Blakeman with no answers, and Hochul's bad, and Mamdani in fear, and Hochul says, I've got some terrible answers, but they're answers, they're going to vote for her. How do I know that? Mamdani's my mayor. That's how I know that. Mamdani had a ton of ideas. Lots of them. They're all terrible, but he had tons of them. And people said, oh, there's some ideas. What was Cuomo's ideas? Nothing. So they went with him, of course. This is human nature. So that's the first thing I want to bring up. So this, to your point, she's going to take reaction to this. She's going to try to find an answer somehow. She'll forget about it November 5th. She'll forget about it. But over this year, she's going to shift the job. Of course she will. She's a savvy team. And most New Yorkers aren't paying attention. They're going to buy it. Absolutely. Your issue is a very valid one. The most important piece about this you have to understand is I want parents to actually own their children. Yes. You hear people say, well, Larry, parents can make mistakes. True, parents can make mistakes. They're human beings. They will. But when one parent makes one mistake, we can fix the one kid and support that kid where they made the mistake, and then the rest of the mistake isn't punished. We're humans. Errors will be made. I don't want errors made at massive levels. We see it happen now. Here's the craziest part. When you give parents the ability to take care of their kids, they tend to do so. Here's my example of this. Every single president we've ever had, every one of them, has been educated before there was the Department of Education. DOE popped up around 1980, give or take. I think Carter voted in 79, but it kind of took hold in 1980. Every president we've ever had has been educated prior to the Department of Education. Somehow, we got presidents. We won World War II. We started the internet. We went to the moon, maybe. Anyway, whatever. We did all these things without a DOE. It maybe just give parents the ability to educate their kids. They do it. The evidence is there. We see it always. Here's the next thing. Does anybody know when America's highest literacy rate was? Highest literacy rate. 79. Yeah, 79. Our literacy rate has gone down since the DOE. It's going down, not gotten better. So yes, I have no problem giving parents their power back. The evidence shows that it works better.
We should bring back religious vaccination.
Okay, the fact that we got rid of religious exemptions is an embarrassment to our judges.
Philosophical exemptions, all of these.
I can see a philosophical discussion. I can see a discussion. But our First Amendment says freedom of religion. The idea that our judges in this state would say they serve the Constitution and then get rid of religious exemption is an embarrassment to our judges. So yes, we end that immediately. I'll see you in court then. But no, absolutely yes. We have religion is in our First Amendment. People always think it's freedom of speech. It is. And religion. So yes. I'm going to back up. Go ahead.
So you said about Kathy Hochul, right?
Yeah.
One of the first things she said was people won't get to heaven unless you got the COVID-19.
I remember that. She told us she talks to God. She told us that. I remember that.
Melania Trump bring out AI.
Yeah.
You know what the rollout of that AI is?
No, tell me.
To replace everybody in the education system, taught by individual robots teaching child. By 2030, they're trying to roll out all the teachers and
Sure.
probably do another COVID lockdown and use your answer as robots.
Yep. So you want me to touch that piece?
Well, I wanted to say too, what was
Oh,
the
okay.
common denominator in 1979?
Yeah.
By literacy rate drop, you know?
I'll tell you.
Tell me. Oh, he knows. Tell me.
Oh, I know. What happened, what started happening after 79, like early 80s, was when wokeness started. Everybody wins. There are no losers anymore. You can't discipline a child. You can't do all this stuff. And that's what started with the wokeness.
Okay, you got something else. Go ahead. You got something else. Go ahead. I like that, guy.
What they take out of salt.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay. All right. Let me touch.
I didn't.
He said they're taking out salt. Yes. So salt. Yes. So let me grab a couple of these. If you remember my entire policy when it comes to education, what did I say? There will be no need for federal funds. There will be no need for state funds. How do they control our school districts? Through funding. Once the funding goes away, local people control their own school. If you want to have AI robots in your school, you can have AI robots in your school. You've got your money, do what you want. Let's see if it works, you do you. If you want to have regular teachers, have regular teachers. If you want to have them have reciprocity with some other states, let them have that. You want to make them go through a doctorate degree, you can do that. You will have control of your own school district. Why does that matter? Because it's what the wealthy do. Instead of us punishing the wealthy, why don't we give everybody what the wealthy have? Yes, choices. It's exactly what they have. The wealthy have choices. Why don't we give everybody choices? If they want their kids to go to private school, they do. They want to go to some, they do. They do what they see fit. I told you that this fund would pay to each school district. It would pay $24,000 per kid per district every year, with an $8,000 credit. If anybody wants to homeschool and or go to private school, what will happen? A whole lot of private schools will cost $8,000. That's what will happen. You know how to work, but why that? Because I still want you to stay in your community. So just because you homeschool your kid, and you send your kid to private school, you can both have your kids in a football team, or the math club, or use a library, or go to the prom. I don't want to break up communities because you decide to educate your kids. Right? So we add that piece to it also. Does that make sense at least? Kind of back
Yes.
I hope that was good.
So let's take control.
Correct. Yes. Guys, if those of you don't know me, Google Larry Sharpe when you have a chance. I'm the most popular Larry Sharpe in the country. Have that comment. So yes, most popular. You will see. I'm a libertarian at heart. I always have been. Always at heart. I supported Gary Johnson in 2016 when he ran. I was his surrogate in media. I was his surrogate media in 2016. I was RPG's surrogate media in 2024. If you saw when he did crazy stuff, I was on TV defending him. That was me.
So we embrace one of our most important founding principles, freedom,
100% yes.
which the candidate here alluded to.
Which is why I adore this man. And I spoke to him before I got him. So happy he's here. Yes, absolutely.
So, on a practical question.
Please.
I was was a Ron Paul fan, libertarian, I 100%.
I was at his 90th birthday party.
Right.
Yes, I've opened for him more than once.
Question, you get on the ballot, you win the primary,
I win the primary.
you win, you beat Hochul.
That's gonna happen.
Gone.
Yep, done.
You're now sitting in superstar land of Democratic socialists who own our assembly,
Yes,
and own the Senate.
True.
All these great plans,
Yep.
everything you have through executive power alone.
no. Here's the plan. This is a great question. And again, I'm gonna answer it because I've been through this. I've been doing this for 8 years. I have answers to all these questions. Number one, can I take the assembly out? I cannot. The super assembly, it's a super majority. I cannot stop the assembly. I cannot. But I can stop the Senate. How do I do that? By independent people creating a block that we used to have years ago. If I just get 5 or 10 people in the Senate, become either libertarian or independent or be the People Party, that block will control the Senate via swing vote.
What we're gonna do is block
Correct.
their ideas.
Correct.
How do we enact Larry Sharpe's
Yeah,
plan?
no,
How
you're
do we
right.
get that done?
You're correct. So since I can block it, see, if I don't block the Senate, then if they pass something and I veto it, then they will override my veto. But if it never gets past the Senate, it's blocked. Correct. Well, they want stuff done too, don't they? I will be able to negotiate. That's how. Okay. I can negotiate. That's how. Now, will they get all my stuff done? No, but my ideas are amazing. You can check them out. They're amazing.
We're gonna go to check them out.
They can check them out at LarrySharpe.com, by the way. So yes, but my point is, you're right. I will not get all my stuff done tomorrow. Of course not. But I now have power. But something else. When I win, by default, because I'm an outsider, I have a mandate. When Trump won, he had a mandate. Mamdani has a mandate. When outsiders win, they have a mandate. How it works. So I will have a mandate. I will have a grace period about a year or so, where they'll kind of have to do what I say, because I'll have a mandate. I get a lot done. Trump did it when he first came aboard, and Rocky stuff he had a mandate. Same thing. I have to copy that model. At that point, if I still have any success, the people will actually support me. Not just, I've already said this. The governor has, I think, 3 airplanes / helicopters. I will sell one of them, and I will deck out a bus. And I will run the government through a bus as I travel the country, travel the state. So I can go to each area of the state and still stop by and see people. That's what I've been doing for 8 years. Now keep doing it. Because if I don't have the people, you're correct. I'll lose. I have to have people behind me. So here's what I'm going to ask you all right now because of that. People behind me. Do me a favor. You all know Republican leadership in your state, in your county, in your city. You know them. Call them, email them, or text them, whatever it takes, and tell them, I want a primary with Blakeman. I want Larry Sharpe the primary. I want Larry Sharpe the primary. If you don't tell them that, they will stop me. They will use back channels, they will do whatever it takes, and they will stop me. Blakeman should want to primary me. Why? If he primaries me, we will have excitement. If he primaries me, we will have press. Right now, there is no press. There's no excitement. No one's talking about Blakeman. Don't about anything. That will explode everywhere. Not just that, he will have to come up with actual policies, or I will embarrass him. So he will have to come up with actual policies, or I will embarrass him. Which means whoever wins the primary will be able to beat Hochul. If Blakeman cannot beat me, he cannot beat Hochul. Not just that he's about matching funds. You want matching funds? Have a primary. You double matching funds. The law. Why would you ever get matching funds? Was it $4 million? Get your money. Hochul has so much money. She has $20 million. She has so much money. She doesn't want matching funds. In fact, she's giving back $6 or $7 million. What she's giving back? I know the number she's giving back. She's giving back money now because she has so much money that she was got for the primary, and she still has $20 million. She has a $4 million campaign right now against Blakeman. You know what that campaign says? Blakeman is Trump. That's the campaign. I'm not joking. That's the campaign. Once I go into the primary, that doesn't work anymore. She just threw $4 million away. She threw $4 million away. It doesn't work anymore. Once I'm in a primary, that goes away. This is nothing but victory for us. A primary only helps. So we don't. Go ahead.
So I have a quick question for you. I like everything you said.
Oh, thank you.
How are your views on citizens with parity with the Second Amendment?
Yes, let me cover the Second Amendment. Oh, sorry.
She's trying to pass a bill that she wants serial numbers on every round of weapons,
Yep.
and we don't have ballots with serial numbers on them. We don't have to show ID for that.
Correct.
Yet your Second Amendment is your right to carry and defend yourself.
Yep.
So what are your views on that?
I love that. To be very full with you. Kathy Hochul is making illegal things legaler I'm not joking, because our gun laws are so strict, you can't get stricter. So now she's like, let's put numbers on bullets. Let's put numbers up. That's what she's doing. Yeah, illegal. Here's the hard part. Two parts to be very clear on. First off, is this state still wants some from the gun control. It's true. Most people in the state want some kind of gun control. I get that. I am the only pro-Second Amendment candidate who's running. There is no one else. I'm not making that up. I've been that way since I started. I'm a libertarian. You have a right to conceal, a right to carry. However, I'm realistic on my state. Here's how I fix it. Because right now, there is nobody doing anything to stop this. It's only going to get worse. Here's what a governor must do. The governor has to walk in and say, I am going to have a blanket pardon for any firearm possession charge across New York State. If you harm somebody with that gun, that's still a crime. You rob somebody, still a crime. You brandish, still a crime. But the possession charge is by default pardon. Why? That will drive the DA nuts. That will drive all the prosecutors nuts. And I'll say, great, you're going to remove it. I will. If we go back to 2012 gun law, prior to SAFE Act, go back to prior to the SAFE Act, I will give her that pardon. Until then, the pardon stays. That is my bargaining chip. That's my bargaining chip. It's pardon. So how many DAs, how many prosecutors use possession charges? All of them do. I just took that away. Gone. You can't have any of that. I'll not be pardoned. They will go nuts. Great. Let's not negotiate again. Now people will tell me, Larry, let's go back further. I want to go back to 1912. That's what I want. But I'm being forward. The state will not accept it. New York State still wants some form of gun control. It just does. You can see it in every single survey. What?
People don't need petitions. Everyone wants to be able to.
That's not true. I wish it were true.
I don't know.
I hope you're right. Here's what I will tell you. If the state assembly and senate will let me go further back, I'll go further back.
So,
But I don't think that the act. Remember, most of the states still blue.
Right.
2-1.
People want to be able to defend themselves.
They actually don't in New York City. You see it. I know you're okay. Here's what I promise you. If I can go back further, I will. That's what I'm telling you. I don't think I can go backwards, but if I can, I will. Because I'm with you. I agree with what you
When I
think.
went down there to get my fingerprints, my computer carried them. School teachers,
Yep.
Hasidic Jews,
Yep.
tons of different kind of people of every
Yep.
age and everything. They're all going down there.
I'm agreeing with you, brother. I'm agreeing, but I can. But then, please, if that's true, if what you're saying is true across the state, why is there literally not one piece of legislation to make firearms more accessible? There's not one. It doesn't exist. Not one. If you're correct, brother, we're good, worse than practical. I'll go back to 1912. I am with you. But from what I see, every piece of data I see, it's not true.
Larry, how do you state complying with the last U.S. Supreme Court decision?
It is not. Bruin said
And they're in the wrong.
they are, and no one cares. I agree with you because our government doesn't care. This is why, what you just said, that's why my executive order will stand. Because I can look at the Bruin decision and say it's based on Bruin's decision. I have the Supreme Court on my side. I agree with you. That's why I do it.
You don't even need it.
But I have it.
You don't have it, but you don't even need it. I agree.
Yes, but I have it. You're correct. So this is what Kathy Hochul is going to know. After the Bruin decision came out, saying that all our gun laws basically were unconstitutional, Kathy Hochul passed 10 more. I'm not joking. She passed 10 more after the Supreme Court said she was wrong. Correct. She passed 10 more. So you're correct, and
That's a red herring. Because, most of them are gonna be shot down by this court.
In 12
By
years.
the Supreme Court. You know,
In 12 years.
So-
and it'll take time to work through.
and she had she won't change it.
What are you gonna do about,
Hold on one second. Did I answer your question at least?
To a degree, that's
Excellent.
100%.
But 100 that you don't like what I had to say, 100%, or did I answer that 100%?
No, you kind of got on through it, but it's understandable.
Oh, okay, all right. I just want to make sure I answer the question. So,
what are you gonna do in regards to, I am also carry private soldier, but I am from Nassau County. Okay? I cannot carry into the 5 hours in New York
Yep.
City. And if he's over there, cannot carry into Nassau County.
No, I can carry it.
Oh, you can?
I can go upstate, my brother lives upstate.
Yeah, I cannot come.
From upstate.
With the Nassau County one, I cannot go anywhere. I can go upstate, I can go anywhere in New York City I want, but 5 hours in New York City.
so let me do two things. One, I told you we're going to go pre-SAFE Act, so that should help tremendously. Number one. But immediately when I become governor, it's an automatic pardon. Automatic pardon. The pardon, done. So you can immediately, once I'm governor, you can go. because the possession charge is by default pardon. Now, you brandish that thing, you rob somebody, that's still a crime. But having it is not a crime anymore. Once I'm governor, it is no longer a crime because of the ruin, you're correct, that decision, I'm done. Then they will change those laws. But here's the other piece. I'm the only guy who goes into the cities and talks about guns. No one else does. They go to Republican clubs about guns. So what? Anyone can do that. Go to DSA meeting and talk about guns. I'm not joking, I do. I talk to Democrats about guns. How do I talk about it? Most people in Republicans will say things like, it's the Second Amendment, it's our right. Democrats don't care. In New York State, the Bill of Rights is the Bill of Suggestion. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. You guys know Dexter Taylor?
Yes.
Yes, Dexter Taylor. Yes, I know him very
I
well.
wanted to help him get on the ballot.
Yes, I like Dexter Taylor, yes, but he's in prison now, sadly. And for those you might know, he was a Brooklyn guy. He was an engineer by trade, and he decided he wanted to see if he wanted to get gunsmith or not.
He's a brilliant man.
Brilliant, yes. I had him on my show interview. I know him personally. I know his lawyer. I have to give him a lawyer. Yeah. So yeah, I know the guy. He literally was just trying to figure out what to be a gunsmith. Bought his firearm pieces legally online with a credit card. They found that he did it. Kicked in his door. I'm not joking. Kicked in his door. Arrested him in the middle of the morning. Put him in jail. And then when he went to trial, the judge said, and I can say this publicly. This is live. I'm saying it. The judge said, "Don't bring the Second Amendment into my court." Now, you might go, that's horrible. It is, but you know what's worse? He's in prison. He's in prison for 10 years, and there's no victim. He didn't shoot anybody, didn't rob anybody, nothing. That's because of Kathy Hochul's ghost gun laws. That's the reason why. But I'll go one step further. Where were the senior judges in this state who went, you can't say that? You can't say that I take an oath to the Constitution and then say the Bill of Rights can't be in my courtroom. Why is that judge not punished? They're not. When I'm governor, I will remove her so that she will not be a judge anymore.
Governors have the power.
I will find a way. Everyone can be impeached. Everyone can be impeached.
But you're going to try to impeach a Democratic judge with the Democratic Senate. I understand. Believe me, I wish you'd be able to.
Hold on. See, you're missing
Actually,
a
he can
important
be
piece.
removed from that. If he becomes governor, he's the only one.
Thank you, and not just because. Hold on.
How does the governor of New York State remove an elected judge?
No, I'm talking about Donnie. You mentioned Donnie.
No, hold on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Let me hear me out. You're missing something. When I start talking about the Second Amendment, the way you should talk about it, people change their minds. I don't talk about gun safety as against the Constitution. I bring up a very important piece. Firearms are equalizers. They're equalizers. If you live in a bad neighborhood, who gets robbed by the bad guys? It's correctly. It's correct. Older people, moms with kids, those are the ones.
Someone who just don't have a gun.
Correct. Let one grandpa draw down on a thug one time and watch things change. Watch things change.
They know everyone's got a gun, and they know it's gonna go. And when someone cuts them off, they out the window first in the screen, because every pickup truck's got 5 rifles in the back window, and everyone's going, "Oh, it's all right."
Somehow we have evidence of this. Somehow in Ohio, they basically make concealed carry legal in Ohio by their laws. And where's the increase in crime? There is none. Crime went down. We have data now. If you want a safer world, let people equalize themselves with firearms. When I speak of it that way, you find people who are in blue areas go, "Huh, I mean, it makes sense." And that's what I want. I don't need Democrats to love guns. I need them to be apathetic. What you'll hear me talk about often is being practical. I know what state I live in. I'm a libertarian. I want virtually no government. That's not going to happen in my state. I just accept that as true. So I go as close as I can. I'll touch a piece that makes some people upset, but I think you may enjoy my answer to this. Bail reform. The concept of bail reform was a wonderful concept. I love the idea of not making poor people feel bad. I totally get the concept. What we got was a disaster. What we got was horrible. And I thought, shame on me for thinking this, I thought there's no way to last. Judges will look at this and go, this is terrible. This guy's been arrested 17 times. I'm not letting him out. That's what I thought was going to happen. Boy, was I wrong.
You have a lot of faith in our.
I had too much. So I literally went there because I meet judges whenever I travel all the time. And I asked the judge once, true story. I asked the judge, I said, Judge, why you let him out? You know what he told me? He said, Larry, I won't have a job. That's what he told me to my face. I won't have a job. That's where we are right now. So here is my answer. People, and I met a cop up in, my father was law enforcement too. I met a cop when I was up in Rochester. He all pissed off. Bail reform, get rid of bail reform. I said, you think we get rid of bail reform? He went, we got to. I said, I didn't ask that question. What I asked is, you think our current governor, our current assembly, our current judges, are we getting rid of bail reform? He went, well, I said, thank you, we're not. If we're going to get rid of it, we would have got rid of it already. It's not going away. Here's what I can do as governor. With an executive order, bail reform is in play only for first-time offenders. That's it. Only for first-time offenders. That's it. First-time offenders. That's all. Right? So, because every single guy you heard about who did horrible things, everyone, 100% multiple offenders. Every one of them, without exception. Every one of them multiple offenders. So the cop went, huh? What do you mean? So if I arrest the guy, and I've heard something before many times. Cops tell me that when they arrest the guy, he's out before they're done filling out paperwork. So I said, if it's the first time, he gets one shot. You got one shot, guy. Good luck. Don't do it again. This is your one shot. I hope you learned your lesson. You got one shot. You do it again, you're staying. He goes, oh, so yes, second, third time you arrest him, he's not going anywhere. And the cop went, that's good, Larry. He signed my petition. Now, is that perfect? No. Will it work? Yes. Why? Because judges don't want to do it either. I just gave them an out. They won't fight me on that. You said, will they fight me? They won't fight me on that one. Most of the actual people who are in the assembly, they don't like it either, but they can't. They put all their money and all their time and energy behind it. They can't back out on it now. I give them an excuse. Just let it go. They'll let it go. I know already because Judge already told me. Judge White will not say a word to me.
We can agree on that, but we can also agree that executive order would be.
I didn't say any of that. I said they wouldn't fight me on it.
I agree.
That's what, thank you. That's what I said. Yes.
Right.
Yes. What I said is they wouldn't fight me. I didn't say anything about that.
It's the same problem, whether it's a Democrat or Republican, grabbing tyranny, grabbing power that shouldn't be done. Look, the people voted for bail reform. Let it be.
No, we didn't.
No,
we didn't.
Yes,
no,
we did.
No, we didn't. It was never on.
No.
Wait a second.
Okay. Number one.
Yes.
Two things. Hold on. Two positives. Number one. If my executive order is so terrible and the people actually hate it, then they will let me know. They will let me know. It will be obvious. There will be a firestorm against me, and I won't get any of this stuff done, and I will have to back down and get my stuff done. I am so confident because I've traveled this state so many times. I've met so many cops, corrections officers. My father was a corrections officer at Rikers Island. When they were on strike, I was literally on the picket line. I've gone there. I've met them. They all go, it's fine. The judges go, it's fine. They're going to say nothing. But say they
I
do.
don't disagree with you because if people really were that outraged against bail reform, where are they? Half of them are in this room in New York State. The rest of them are happy about it.
If you're right, and if you're right, and maybe you are, if you're right, then I will get a horrible backlash and I have to back down. If you're right, I think you're wrong. But we'll find out. But here's the best part. I'm the guy giving you an answer. What's Bruce Blakeman's answer? What's Kathy Hochul's answer? I gave you an actual plan.
I agree with the actual thing. All I'm saying is the law's already been passed.
I
The
know.
governor can't, there's no plan for the governor to fix that law. The way to change the law is to have the assembly repeal it. So that's the plan.
Okay, so hold on. Let's
Using
say,
executive power
yes,
to
hold
take
on.
people's.
Let's say I'm correct.
Right.
And I do it, and they don't fight me. Awesome. If they don't fight me, that means they actually want it. If I'm correct, and I believe I am, I think they walked themselves as if they didn't know what happened. They walked into something that was a mistake and they can't walk themselves out. That's what I believe to be true. And if I'm wrong, we'll find out. If I'm right, then what will they do? Thank you, Governor. Let's start putting some legislation together. And then I'll sponsor legislation to make my executive order an actual law. And then I can take my executive order away. Does that make sense? We can absolutely do that. And if I'm wrong, there's no punishment. I'm okay with that. But what I'm telling you is this matters to me, and I'm prepared to spend political capital on this.
Larry, didn't.
Hold on, I'm not gonna be able to.
We covered a lot of ground,
We did.
a lot of different issues.
True.
I'm not looking for you. I just want to make sure where, because I know you want to review some stuff. To actually
Okay,
see the
yes,
power.
yes, I'm sorry. I put out a lot of content, guys. And if any of you, I think it's my favorite, if you like interview style, if you like that, I think my two favorite interviews are probably my Glenn Beck interview and my Joe Rogan interview. You Google Larry Sharpe, Glenn Beck, Larry Sharpe, Joe Rogan, you'll see it. You can watch my interviews there. A lot of my ideas, my plan, my K-10 plan versus K-12. I have a lot of policies that I want to fix, things like trades, all the other things, all done. I do tons of content for my Larry Sharpe YouTube page, my Larry Sharpe Facebook page. I do tons of content everywhere. If you're a policy wonk, you love policy, go to my Larry Sharpe YouTube page, type in 8 hours. I did 8 hours straight on New York State policy, no bathroom break, no food break. It is time stamped with all different policies. You can time go to wherever you want to go if your policy wonk. Otherwise, you can just listen to my radio show. I do a radio show out of Rochester, New York every Monday. You can call and ask me a question. You can see here and talk to me. I do shows on my YouTube channel whenever I do it. Check it out whenever you want. LarrySharpe.com, by the way, actually has
Didn't bail reform usurp the power of the judiciary?
It did. They didn't get it.
Well,
The judiciary has no power.
Correct.
The judiciary has no power. The idea that the judiciary has any power is an illusion. They are nothing but rubber stamps of our Constitution. Yes, they don't do. What the judiciary is doing is stealing power from the people, and the executive branch is letting the judiciary do it because they're taking away from the legislature.
That's the biggest thing.
Well, we've never agreed. The judiciary is not an equal branch as we can operate without a judiciary. You can actually privatize the judiciary. It's done all the time. You can do arbitration and privatize the judiciary. We should have a civil judiciary just to protect our constitutional rights. Yes. And then we can mandate that all other disputes go to private office. They privatize everything else. But the judiciary in New York State is so corrupt. Yes, they're just political. 100%. It's worse than the petitioner jobs they give people. It's just a high level with the salary and lifetime benefit. I wish you were wrong, my friend, but you absolutely
we got our job.
Yeah, which is why you have to. I'll go one step further. So I have a policy for everything. There's like nothing on the policy. So what should we do? We should be judging our judges. We should have a review system for our judges, especially family court. Family court is a disaster in our state.
Guardianship
Embarrassment in our state. It crushes people in our state.
Judicial watch?
Yes, we need that way. And then once a judge is unbalanced, not tough or not tough, that's irrelevant. Once they're unbalanced, that's how we should do it. Yes. So someone over here, you got everybody? That's good, yeah, bud.
I got 2 questions. It's not gonna be a quick answer.
Uh-oh.
All right, so I work the night shift, right? I work the night shift, right? And like just a quick example, we had one of the inmates in one of our buildings, they got off the fire hydrant for over a month. How do we get NYCHA back in the working condition? Because the money's there, the federal government gives us an exorbitant amount of money.
Money's about.
And the problem is, how do we get the tenants and the people there to live in a proper way?
And I mentioned it earlier, and I'll bring it up again. It is actually allowing the financial people who are now putting up money to buying like rental apartments and making rents so sky high, have them instead buy the NYCHA housing, revamp it, give them insane tax breaks. I would go 0 when they resell it and have it go rent to own. When people start having ownership, they change it. Everyone cries about gentrification. When you're an owner, gentrification is amazing. It's when you're a renter when it's not. More owners, nobody cares. Change them over and have them build more. I need more housing being built. I would go as far as to say that we should pass a law in New York State, same as Texas. Texas right now has big cities like Houston, Dallas, big cities. They don't have the rent problem we have. They also don't have the housing problem that we have. They don't have the homeless problem that we have. Why? No zoning. Zoning is illegal in New York State. I mean in Texas. You should end zoning. Change the entire system. Change the entire system. And then incentivize people to build. Incentivize to build. Kathy was talking about it. Kathy Hochul was talking about it already. Even she's not talking about it. As I said, she's committed. She's shift all day long. Even she's talking about it. So yes, that's how you do it. Okay. Excellent. Any other questions?
Yes.
Right.
$30 an hour.
Yep.
Right, that proposal, okay. Now I understand it's a city thing.
Yep. This is the most important thing that we worry about when it comes to this. We have to support our small businesses in many different ways. The way they have now only harm. Several things. Number one, change insurance. Change insurance. What I mean by that. Right now in New York State, if you're gonna have, if you get workers' comp, you can pay for workers' comp on and off. On the job and off the job. Just on the job. Most states are that way, number one. So right there, workers' comp goes down. That's number one. Number two, I want you to be able to hire felons. I'm not joking. You have a massive felon population in New York State, and they are struggling. If you hire a felon in New York State, you pay no payroll tax to that person for at least the next 2 years. And if you have, at one point, you have 50 people or more in your company, if half of them are felons, you pay no payroll tax at all. For those people who know payroll tax, if you're paying someone $20 an hour, payroll tax can easily be $14 additional, $14 more. So you're actually paying $34 when you can pay $20. So right there is going to help out tremendously. Second, third piece. This is a lot. Yes. Next piece. I want to actually treat small businesses similar to a Wyoming law. A Wyoming law, there's a system where if you agree to sell only locally, you are immune from all federal regulatory bodies. So if you are a local small business and you sell only within New York State, you're immune from all federal regulatory bodies, as long as you post not following federal guidelines. So now you have that whole system to not be concerned about. Next, we should change how we do all of our business taxation. Business taxation right now is about 6% across the state, depending on where you are, give or take. It should be a flat 6%, with no exception, 6%, and the first $200,000 is untaxed. So first $200,000 you get, no tax. $201, you pay only on that 6%, and that will go down 0.5% for 8 years, down to 2%.
That's revenue or profit?
Taxation, so your profits. Yes, so your big profits. Yes. So as you go down, it goes down to 2% over the next 8 years. That will be the lowest in the country. Right now, the lowest is North Carolina.
My biggest problem
Please tell me.
is not really what my goods, but my price raise versus my labor.
Yep.
Where I started 23 years ago, it sounds like a long time. 23 years ago today. The highest price item, 200%. That average is less because I didn't go across the board 200%. Right? So my labor cost will go 300%.
Of course.
Okay, so I have that big gap.
Yep.
No way I'm making that up to this present day.
Yep.
It's cost doing business in New York. That's what we say.
Yep.
So all the other stuff is great. Don't get me wrong. And then
Yes.
go down and get more into the nitty gritty. But again, labor.
I just said we can make it to where we're lowering all of our taxes.
But if I'm not saying, again, you give me an answer on the labor technically, you give me an incentive or a offset.
Sure.
But that labor cost is still going to come in on.
You know, it's going to be challenging to change the labor costs that in a city that's already expensive. Once we start lowering the price of the city itself, the labor costs will be by default come down. But we have to do that, and that's not.
The cost of labor rate. They passed labor rate at 30. I might be wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. Where I'm wrong. If that labor rate goes to 30, it's 30. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. But if everything gets cheaper, then that 30 becomes amazing.
Is it going to get cheaper?
Yes,
No,
that's my entire goal. Yes.
No,
Is
it's
that-
gonna inflate.
Yes.
Something else.
Hold on. What's your business?
I'm the food business.
Okay. Prices do go down. You still have time. They go up and they go down. Of course it do. It depends upon what happens in the market. What I have to do to be very bold with you, I'd love to give you the magic answer that could solve tomorrow, but I can't. What I can give you is I will make this state better within 2 years to where you won't care. That's what I'm telling you.
Okay, no, I understand that.
I will make it to where 2 years from now, you'll be like, this is fun. I'm not mad anymore because other things have gone down. More people are coming in. You'll be okay because those other issues I talked about.
My employer.
Yep.
And now if you're working 40-hour full-time week, it's 1,200 gross.
Yep.
They happen to do 6 days.
Yep.
Okay, the new rate. What happens with their medical, right?
Yeah.
Because now they're in a different bracket.
Yep. Yes. So this is way off topic, but I'm happy to
Yeah,
talk about it.
I'm sorry, but it's.
No.
it's-
You're right. Yes. We have to change all of our systems when it comes to employees. Sadly for us in New York, we are very employee friendly. And we are we are the least business friendly state in the entire union. What does that mean? Our businesses suffer and they leave. So yes, we're gonna have to roll back some of our employee protections. We're gonna have to. We'll have to roll back some of that. We will. And also to change, we are gonna have to also change our medical system. Our medical system in New York State is broken. It's already a 2-tier system right now. The wealthy, they go to doctors who don't take insurance. Those of you know, you see it. If you're wealthy, your doctor doesn't take insurance, right? But if you're not wealthy, you go to insurance doctor. gotta let everyone go to a non-insurance doctor. And do that by totally revamping all the mandates that come from Medicaid and Medicare. We shift that to a cost of more.
Well, sounds good. I'll leave it there.
Thank you. But I hope you understand. I hear you, and I know there's not one thing. If I give you 6 or 7, they will begin to equal something. But for me to lie to you and go, I'm gonna turn back time and make the minimum wage $50. I'm pandering. I'm lying to you.
Well, I'm gonna go down.
But I don't want to do that to you. I don't want to tell you that's going to happen. I accept where it's going to be. So how do I find other ways of making that burden easier so you can accept what it's going to be? Does that make sense? I tell you guys I'm very practical. I don't want to go, that's terrible, end minimum wage. That's pandering. That's not going to happen in this state. It's not a thing. It's not gonna happen. Does at least answer your question, at least?
Yeah, and just for the record, I'm not saying in the way, obviously.
Yeah, but people will say that. You will see people say that. Yeah, we're going to end the minimum wage. That's not nothing. Yep. This in the back. Also, I have shirts. If you guys want shirts, and I also have lawn signs. If you guys want lawn signs, please come by. Thank you so much.